In the movie Transformers The Last Knight, the most interesting new character is arguably Cogman. And here he is in plastic form. Jello again. Aaron here from My Turbo Reviews, and today I want to take a quick look at Transformers The Last Knight Cogman. Now, the car here is an Aston Martin, which is a first for a Transformers toy. I don't really know much about Aston Martins, but I imagine it's a pretty decent likeness of the vehicle it's supposed to be. Detailing is... well, it is what it is. There's translucent plastic used for the headlights, and there's black paint in various spots on the vehicle. The rear lights are painted, which is something that you don't always see nowadays, as is the paint on the rims. The vehicle does sport an Autobot symbol here, although the character himself was never really revealed to be an Autobot per se. He was, at the very least, a good guy in the movie. Now, one accessory that Cogman comes with is actually not really an accessory at all. If you open up the passenger compartment, you'll find a little guy here. It's, for all intents and purposes, the same as a Titan Master from the Titan's Return line. However, Cogman in the movie was described as being a headmaster, and since the headmasters and Titan Masters share the same gimmick, it's not really any wonder why Hasbro went with representing him in this way. And truthfully speaking, this little guy is actually Cogman, and the car is more or less an accessory that he comes with that also becomes a robot body that Cogman can transform into the head of, which we'll get to when we convert everything to robot mode. With this little bit of plastic actually representing Cogman from the film, it's a pity that they didn't give the body a little bit more paint to pick out detailing. Once I get him transformed, you're going to see where the paint budget went, but it's a little disappointing that they didn't allocate some for this mode. And with that being said, the Aston Martin is a very decent looking car. And of course, this car also becomes this robot, or this robot body. And of course, that's where the tiny little Cogman figure comes into play. Make sure the arms are to the sides, flip the legs up and fold them, turn him around, and he becomes the head for the robot body. I wasn't lying when I said you're going to see where the budget for the paint went, as he is particularly detailed paint-wise in this mode, especially the head, which is, of course, an upsized approximation of what Cogman's head looks like in the movie, and is yet another reason why I wish that they had painted the Headmaster a little bit better in its robot mode. In addition to being a nice-looking robot, Cogman has very little in the way of a backpack. What's there is made up of the top and the hood of the vehicle, and it all folds together quite nicely to fit snug on his back. Articulation-wise, the head will rotate among the best of the Titan's Return line figures, from which he borrows the gimmick. There's a hinge at the shoulder, swivel, the elbow will bend 90 degrees. There is no waist articulation, probably because it's not needed for transformation. The hips are on ball joints, and there's a pin hinge at the knee that's very difficult, at least on my figure, to articulate, the feet will rotate back and forth due to transformation, and that gives you a little bit extra articulation there. Cogman does come with an accessory. It's his sword, which will fit snugly into either hand. And this guy does have one more trick up his sleeve, providing that you have the Decepticon Nitro figure from the same line. And I do happen to have the Last Night Decepticon Nitro. He has the ability to lose his head, which is easily replaced by the head off of the Cogman body. It looks a little odd, but really not too much so. Cogman really is the odd man out because of the fact that he is the one figure where it's agreed that the smaller robot that forms the head is the sentient part and the body is just a vessel for it to basically wear. Overall, Cogman is definitely one of the better figures from the Last Night line and a definite pickup if you can find him. I had to resort to online to get mine, but I do understand that he's starting to show up in Walmarts across the country months and months removed from when the movie was in theaters. But if you can find him, I would say definitely get him. And as always, this has been Aaron from My Turbo Reviews, saying catch you later. But really, definitively, the very best thing about this toy is the fact that